minority. Now, joining me to discuss this further is CBN News chief and Blaze TV contributor David Brody. Thank you for joining me.
Andrew, great to be with you.
I understand that Mitt Romney seems really cruel talking about this, and that's how the mainstream media is going to paint this. They're saying he's writing off 47% of the population, but it's a two-party contest. I mean, any candidate knows that there are people that are never going to vote for him no matter what he does or her. But isn't it also safe to say that there's 47% writing off Mitt Romney?
Well, there's no doubt about it. But Romney's problem here, Andrew, is that he got into metrics. I mean, he's a numbers guy, and he got bogged down in numbers. I mean, think about it. If he didn't say 47%, would there be this big kerfuffle? Probably not, or maybe more than a kerfuffle. Probably not. If he had just simply said, Obama supporters believe this way, it would have been something he's pretty much said before. But he got into 47%. The guy's a numbers guy, and this is where he trips up. He's very much into polling data. He's very much into all of these numbers that we've heard before. It works well for him in the business world. The problem is it doesn't translate well to the campaign trail, and it kind of goes into that stereotype of people are not numbers, and it was a cauldron for the media to pick up on big time.
What about when they're just people clinging to guns, religion, and indifference to people who are different than them? There was very little outrage from the mainstream media about Barack Obama talking down to people, calling them ignorant, Bible thumpers, racist, you name it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you're right. They didn't really pick up on that at all, and it was the conservative media that had to do their work for them. But look, I think part of the problem here for Romney is that this is a messenger issue. In other words, the message that you've been talking about here, that others in the conservative world have been talking about in terms of redistribution, yeah, it's a problem, redistribution. But the issue is that it works well on at the Heritage Foundation and on a white paper and in a wonderful monologue that you just put together. But if Romney, the problem is Romney is maybe not the messenger guy to deliver it. Whereas a Huckabee, for example, whereas a Reagan, it's all about how you put it together. And if you've got a rich guy, hundreds and millions of dollars, and God bless him for it, but you got a rich guy trying to talk about redistribution, it doesn't necessarily play from a metric standpoint and an overall logistical standpoint.
But you also I think there's been a big change in the labor movement. When Reagan talked about welfare queens, when he talked about redistribution, when he was quoting Pastor Adrian Rogers, who was very famous for talking about what happens when people don't work, union guys looked at other people who didn't work and called them lazy bums. I work for a living. What are you doing? But now the union bosses are all in with the progressive movement, and they're all about the welfare state. So if you can't even reason with people who work very hard for a living as to why other people should work as well, I mean, how do you make the case?
Well, you're right, and here's part of what you just said there is what Romney was pretty much saying in that video, which is like, I can't reason with these folks. I mean, they're pretty much off the reservation, so I'm going to discount them. And so, look, I think at the end of the day, what is he going to do? I mean, he's going to have to somehow not back away from these comments at all, which he hasn't. And what he really should do is take that secret video from Mother Jones and the redistribution clip and throw it up as a campaign commercial and energize the base as much as possible. Forget the squishy independents, forget the middle and all of that. This is a base election. He really has to go after the base.
I also think he should go after people who work for a living. Not that we all don't work for a living. I'm stealing one of their phrases. But when you're talking to the Reagan Democrats, when you're looking to recapture that for a big win, looking somebody in the face and saying, you work very hard. You get up in the morning, you go to work every day, you put in your 8 hours, your 10 hours. If you're a young doctor or a business owner, it might be 12 hours. We want everybody to work. We want an economy that creates new jobs because there's capital in the marketplace and there's wealth to be had. And all this talk about we're all in this together, we want that too. What we don't want is some people being made idle by the government.
Well, it brings up here's the question that brings up. Where are those personal stories that the Romney campaign hasn't trotted out yet? Where is Mitt Romney in the living rooms of people around this country? I think the optics on this have not been good for him at all. And it's a campaign, and I'm dealing with senior advisors to the Romney campaign who have yet to pretty much get off the one-trick pony of the economy and metrics and unemployment numbers and GDP. Look, people don't look at the GDP growth. People don't look at the unemployment figure. I mean, we all have a fun time with, is it going to go under 8%? Someone at home in Ohio is not thinking about, is it going under 8%? Where is the personal stories with Mitt Romney? He needs to connect on that type of level. It hasn't been there. And so is the message of redistribution a problem for the Obama campaign? Yes, but unless you have a messenger to deliver it, I don't know how much it goes.
Maybe he's